Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So if you follow me at all on Instagram, you know that we have moved our homeschool room down to our basement. We finished our basement a few months ago, and originally this was going to be a craft kind of area for the kids, and after just some consideration, I decided that I want to try and move our schoolroom down here, and so that's what we've done. So I'm going to take you on a quick tour. We've had a lot of requests for a video showing what our room setup looks like. The other thing I want to mention before we start this video is that you certainly don't have to have a dedicated homeschool room or anything like that to homeschool. You can homeschool anywhere that works best for your family. A lot of people don't like the concept of making school at home look like school in a classroom. I like that. It works for me. It helps me. You know, I'm kind of a little more OCD on organization and things like that, and so I like having a space where everything's kind of organized. We can all come down here and kind of, it's like, you know, when you go to work in the morning, you go to like a place. That's kind of how we do school. We kind of come down here, everybody's in school mentality, and we kind of focus and we work, and it just works out for us. But you certainly don't have to do that. You can do school anywhere. We go to the library usually once a week and do school there. I've done school in my kitchen, my dining room, my living room. We did try letting the kids do it in their own rooms, which works better for older kids but not so good for younger kids. So it really just depends on the ages of your kids and what you want your homeschool to look like. So I just wanted to put that out there before I show you my room, because I get a lot of questions on, do you have to have a homeschool room in order to be able to homeschool? And the answer is no, definitely not. This is just the setup that we have, and we really like it. So we're going to take a closer look, and I'm just going to kind of give you a little tour around the room. It's not super huge, so it won't be very long, but hopefully it'll help give you guys some ideas and some inspiration. So let's take a closer look. All right, so this is kind of an overview from just the living room kind of portion of our basement. So right over here are our stairs coming down, and then we've got this little barn door here, which is kind of fun. My daughter has her little playroom down there. And then when you come down the stairs and you come this way, we've got just a living room kind of area with a fireplace, and then over here, and you can see kind of tucked back in there, which was going to be a craft room, is now our schoolroom. So we can take a closer look and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is a little bit closer view, and as you can see kind of over here in this right corner, we've got our Spielgeben wood set right here, and then we have one of our Brazil science projects, rainforest projects right there, and then this is just a little shelf that I had stuck in there just to hold a couple of extra things. I put my calendar up on there, and then these little bins down here are just where the kids turn in their finished work, and then in the bottom is our incentives bucket. It's got all the little erasers and stuff if you saw my school supply haul. And then I did move one of my Ikea shelving units down here. This has all of my teacher's manuals per grade, and then on the bottom are just some extra books and things that we're using. And then as you can see probably on top there are my readers, and those are just the Book Shark readers and my classic literature units. And the kids can just come and just pick. I don't assign a specific book to them. I let them just pick whichever book they are interested in reading at the time, and then they're welcome to do that. And then of course over here in the middle is my Ikea desk setup. Now I get a lot of questions about this, and I do have an entire post on how I created that, and I'll link it below. Everything in here pretty much is from Ikea. Yeah, I think everything in here is from Ikea except for that little, you know, the spinner and the computers obviously and stuff like that. So, but I will show you information on how to put that together. I know that they did rename it, and so some of the names don't quite fit, but they're basically just the white, not shiny, not the glossy, but just the plain white tabletops, and they are about 5 feet this way and then 2.5 feet this way, so that makes this about a 5 by 5 square, and that works really well. And then the chairs are the junior chairs, and they fit nicely in between there. So I don't know that an adult chair would fit as well in there because it is kind of tight in between these, how I have my drawers set up, so you might have to just do some measuring to see. But we do like this setup, and I would for sure purchase it again. I'll kind of show you a little bit close up of our desk because we've had it for years, and I would repurchase this entire thing. I love how it's working out for us, but it is getting slightly dented and not so much stained from things, but more just like, you know, dents from pencils or things, you know, knocking into it and things like that. But overall, I think it's held up actually quite well. And then over there in that far corner is my teacher's desk, and we just have some of our computers on there, and the kids use those as well for doing typing and watching their math videos and that kind of thing. So here's a close-up of just the calendar area, and I apologize for the glare. I've got a window over here. I can't do a lot about it. So I just purchased this on Amazon, and I do have a calendar post on my website that has links to all of this as well. And then these little sticky numbers here, I just have Velcro on this calendar, and then there's Velcro on the back of the numbers, and then that just makes it really easy. And I do have this little tin here that just was holding something, scrapbook flowers or something before, and I'm just using it to hold her numbers for her. And then she's also got the weather and what day is it tomorrow and yesterday. And we actually don't do that as much anymore, but both of those are free downloads on my website. And I also have seasonal number downloads on my website as well. If you search for gingham calendar printables, you'll find it, and I'll try and remember to link it below. So moving down below my calendar, I just have these stackable file folders, and they just come off. I just got these probably at Target or Walmart. I can't remember. I've had them for years. And this is my oldest, and on down the line, and then we just put their finished work in there. And then down here is our little incentives bucket, and this is full of all of those fun erasers and whatnot. And I'll do a close-up of this for you. But since my son isn't really into all these little fruit erasers and that kind of thing, I also got him all these little mini Pokemon. I got all of this off Amazon. He loves Pokemon. And so, you know, just kind of find whatever your kid is into, whatever your child is into, to just give them little incentives. And so how it works is, as long as they have to get 100% on just one thing, and then they can have one of these prizes a day. So they can get 100% on everything or 100% on one thing, but I couldn't give them an eraser for each 100% because I'd be going through with 4 kids like several of those a day, and it's just not realistic. So, but it is nice to have a fun little incentive. They all really like those, and everybody's always excited to get something out of the prize box. All right, so that's kind of that little corner. And then if you're curious, over here is just a door to our storage room, and then there's just a wall to my right, like a little half wall that goes into that kitchenette area. Then as we kind of move on down the line here, again, I've got my Ikea set up in my desk unit, so let's take a look at that. So over here on the far left side over here, you can see my X-Acto pencil sharpener, and that pencil sharpener is great. I'll try and link it below if I can find the same one. I've had it for years, and prior to that we went through several pencil sharpeners, so I'm really, really loving that one because it's been great. Held up really well. And then just right here is my book, actually my Homeschooling 101 book. My daughter is using it for a mouse pad, so you know, if you need a mouse pad, write a book and then your kids will use it. And then right here we just have all of our reading books, and like I mentioned, these ones over here on this side are the Book Shark, and then these over here are my classic literature, and then over here we actually have a few that we got from the library, and they're just some of those Who Was, like Benjamin Franklin, that kind of thing, and they can also read those as well. And then we just have some decorative flags right there. And then down on this bottom, I'm sorry, there's a desk right here, so it's hard for me to show you, but in this bottom far left corner down here is our IEW writing stuff, our DVDs and that kind of thing are down here. And then in this next one over, there are coloring books and things like that, some readers, and then these are all of my artists and scientists units and all my literature units and that kind of thing down there. And I just like to keep those because my kids are allowed to just pick one, whichever one they want to use, and so they can just go down and look. They can also read those books as well, so I just like to have those out. Alright, and then over in this other corner is my teacher sort of desk. It's actually becoming more of a student work desk for anything that we're doing on the computer. So we do typing, they do their Matthew C videos, and things like that on there. So we do kind of, one of them's mine, I keep their records and that kind of thing on it. The other one, this one over here in the corner, is more like the kids' computer. We do have it pretty locked down as far as you know, what they're allowed to do on there and that kind of thing, and they can't really log in without me or anything like that. So that was one of my main concerns about having my computer in the basement, was that I wasn't going to be able to kind of readily see them, but it's actually worked out quite well. It means they're on there less as far as playing video games or anything like that, and they can't log on without me, so I can kind of control all of that and either be down here, or we do buddies where there's more than one of them down here. And anyways, it's kind of working out so far. We'll see how that goes. All right, and then in my drawer drawer, I have just kind of extra supplies and that kind of thing. Sharpies, tape, you know, paper clips, pens, erasers, these little tabs which we use all the time, extra pencils. Here's my wall tape. This is the Marvelous, M-A-V-A-L-U-S, Marvelous tape. It's great for putting things on walls without taking off paint. And just any kind of extra supplies I like to keep in here. And then over on this side, we've got some extra, as you can see, we go through a lot of glue sticks. And then in here is just regular lined paper because we use a lot of that, and if they need it for anything, they can just come grab it. I also have a stapler and a hole punch in here, and then shoved in the back are my calendar month papers, and so we just kind of swap those out. There's probably a better way to keep those, but yeah, that's where they are. And then hopefully you can see down here below, I have 2 chairs. These are also from Ikea, as well as the desk. This desk is the Miche, I think it's M-I-C-H-E, I'll try and find it as well, desk. And I like it because it's long, but it's not very deep, so it fits in this area really well, and it fit upstairs as well. The chairs down here are also from Ikea. They're just the little tiny, I think they're like $5. I'm not even sure what they're called. I'll try and find them for you as well. And I do have a trash can down there as well. One of the other things that's nice about doing school down here is that I have these nice cabinets up here, and while some of them store some of our craft supplies and our sewing supplies, because this is also sort of our crafting room, I also was able to use some of these for some of my extra school supplies and books that we use quite a bit, but books that I'm not necessarily going to have room for down here, or books we don't put into their actual desks. And so a lot of these are just some of the extra stuff that, you know, our manipulatives and things like that that didn't fit in some of the shelving that I had down here, but that was from our room upstairs. So this actually works really well. It keeps them all nice and easy to get to. If anybody is wondering, these are called Project Central 8x8 project cases. They're plastic cases, and I got them from the Container Store, and I will try and link those below for you. But they're great for storing manipulatives and things like that you need to kind of keep organized, but and I also like that they're clear because that way I can kind of see what's in them. So it makes it really nice and neat. I use these for our art supplies as well, and you can use them for puzzles and toys and really kind of anything if you want to try and just keep them a little bit more tidy and easy for the kids to grab, easy for them to put away, and I like that. So these cabinets make life in here much nicer as well. So I did want to just show you a little bit more up close my desk setup. So like I mentioned before, this is all from Ikea, and I've got 2 tabletops here. They're about 2.5 by 5 feet each, and these are the non-glossy white. And then if you can see, there's a seam here that runs all the way down, and below here I've got some brackets just holding these together so that you can't pull them apart, so they aren't like going everywhere. I also put some of that non-stick, the things that you can put underneath rugs to keep them from moving around, and they're like it's the stuff that you put underneath area rugs to keep them from sliding around. They're kind of like a little rubber mat. So that keeps it from sliding around on here. As you can see, I can move it if I want to, but it's pretty sturdy, like it's not really going anywhere. Alright, so we are underneath my desk now. Here's the view from underneath here. And as you can see, I've put those metal brackets on just to hold it. I also forgot, I do have a piece of particle board under there, or not particle board, but the pegboard. And if it were larger, that'd be great. But I just put that in there just to give the seam right here a little bit more support, so that it's the weight of my spinner, my desktop carousel, isn't pushing down on it quite so much. I don't even know if that was really necessary. It just made me feel slightly better. But I did put those brackets, and there's 4 of them going all the way across this seam to the other side, just so that my desktops don't slide around. And then they're just setting on top of the drawer units. And then of course these are the Vika Alex drawers, and I'm not going to go through all of our drawers. If you'd like to see what's in her drawers, you can watch my video on the curriculum. I just put up the last 4 videos were basically everything that's in their work boxes, but they keep all of their daily work in these drawers. Alright, so these are the junior chairs, and they do go up and down. You just have to press them, and they do swivel and spin and slide and all of that kind of fun stuff. We haven't had any really issues other than that they bang against here, and so they are getting kind of a little bit damaged and beat up, but after having them for several years, you know, I kind of figure that's to be expected. My tabletop is also getting slightly damaged here and there. Mostly the bigger ones were from when we moved and it just got banged up. The other ones might be if somebody drops scissors or something like that on it, and it's actually been fairly durable. I would totally repurchase this again. I think, you know, it's lasted for 4 kids and doing school every day for several years. It's lasted quite well. So it just is starting to show a little bit of wear and tear, and I don't know if you can see on these chairs, but you know, they're just getting kind of nicked and that kind of thing. So I do wipe these down with just either water or like just a basic cleaner. Usually at the end of the week, I'll just wipe it down really fast, and then the next week we'll do school all week, and then I'll wipe it down again at the end of the week. Just kind of depends on how dirty it gets, but for the most part, it's held up really well. I do love it, and I would repurchase it. So here it is kind of from a wide angle. I'm standing in the living room kind of area of our basement, and then we just have this window. It's an egress window down here, so there's just concrete out there, which isn't very exciting. And then over here on this side is just our storage unit, which actually makes it really nice because I have a lot of our stuff, our, you know, supplies we aren't using and things like that in there, and it's really easy for me to get to, which I found, oh, I need this book, and I can just run in there really quickly without, you know, before I would have to run down to the basement, and who knew what the kids were doing upstairs, right? So anyway, so that's kind of the room. And just because I figure some people are going to ask, this flooring is not wood. It's actually a laminate flooring. We purchased ours from Carpet Exchange. It's called Reclaimed Chestnut, I believe. And we really like it. I will say that with it being in the basement, since the floor, they did level our floor, but there are some spots where it kind of feels spongy, I guess you could say. Just because the flooring isn't, or the concrete underneath isn't perfectly flat. They have this exact same flooring at Home Depot. It's called Aged Chestnut, and it's Bruce laminate, and I guess they're like the same kind of company or whatever. They just operate under 2 different names, I'm not sure, but it's identical flooring. So we do really like it. I like the look, I like the feel. It cleans fairly easy so far, and you know, I did like scissor drop tests on it when we were in the store and everything, and it seemed like it was fairly durable, so we'll see how it holds up. And then the wall and ceiling paint color, the trim is just a basic white. I believe it's called Cloud White by Benjamin Moore. And then the wall paint is also by Benjamin Moore, and it's called Balboa Mist. And it was a really nice kind of neutral gray. It doesn't have really any blue or green undertones to it. It's really, really neutral. So we found that it matches just about everything that we put in the basement. So I do really like that. It's a nice soft color. I will say that it changes with the light. So right now, hopefully on the video, it's looking kind of gray. If you go into the bathroom that we refinished, it's got all white, and it's got some white flooring, and it actually looks almost kind of tan in there. So, or a beige-ish color. But anyways, I do really like it, and it seems to match pretty much anything that you put next to it, so that made it a really easy pick for us. Alright, so now I'm kind of standing over where my bookshelf was on the other side of my school desk, just so you can kind of see what we look at. So we do have a fireplace there, and we have these nice arches right here kind of dividing this room between here and the living room, and then hopefully you can kind of see, but there's windows all along the back side of our house over here, and we're at garden level, so it's really nice. It doesn't feel like we're kind of crunched downstairs in the basement, which I was worried about. I didn't want to be feeling like I was kind of claustrophobic down here all day, you know, and just not getting any sunlight. So we can obviously open those windows and all of that kind of stuff, and we have a fairly decent view. So, and then over here is just our little kind of kitchenette area that we put in, and then we're back over to the storage unit. So that's kind of what it looks like down here. Alright guys, so that concludes my homeschool room tour. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I always like seeing other people's rooms and how they have stuff set up. So if you have any questions, as always, you're welcome to email me at erica@confessionsofhomeschooler.com. You can also check out my website. All of that stuff will be linked for you below. And if you have any ideas for Tip Tuesdays, make sure to leave a comment as well, and I'll try and get that filmed for you. But in the meantime, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next Tuesday.